Welcome to the Good Stuff podcast, brought to you by From Creative Agency. Each episode, we talk to good people doing good stuff. Hello, Lisa.
Hey, hi Louise, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Having a nice day.
Well, I'm really pleased you have allowed me to persuade you to come onto the Good Stuff podcast. I know it took a bit of persuasion, but I think I'm really looking forward to talking to you, and I'm probably going to find out loads of stuff that I didn't know at all. So, yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's.
Oh, I
Really
don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Good place to start. Probably just introduce yourself to those listening.
So I'm Lisa Robinson, and I am Lisa Robinson PR, or LRPR, as sometimes known as well. I'm a freelance public relations consultant. And currently have a few roles running across marketing agencies, in-house PR, and working with Henry & Co in the gift retail sector. But yeah, a long history in PR, and kind of never really set out to do it. I didn't leave school and say, oh, I want to be a PR consultant, but kind of found myself in the mix. And now I've been doing it for I don't know, over 30 years probably, showing my age now.
I know, and we've obviously crossed paths both through Henry & Co and just kind of giftware sector as well. And, I just absolutely kind of love the work that you do. Why do you think, I think PR is quite a challenge for people, isn't it? Those who really understand PR absolutely get the value of it and what actually public relations means. But I think there are so many people out there who just don't have a clue really what it is. And, how would you kind of explain it to a newbie? Say, well, actually, this is what public relations is, and this is the benefit of working with somebody to deliver it for you.
So many people have the misconception that PR equates sales, and obviously it can do. If it's a service industry or a product industry, it can equate to sales. And if you get something in the Telegraph, for example, direct link to a client's website, it will sell a product. But first and foremost, it's about managing your brand. It's about understanding what your key messages are, what your brand strategy is, what your audience is, and then maximizing every opportunity that you can to get you in front of the right audience. So public relations essentially is relations with your public, whatever sector or audience that may be. So there's a vast ways that you can do things like that. Press coverage is obviously one, and the digital sector has just taken over and made so many opportunities for online presence. And then you have the mix of, the socials and the marketing, and it all kind of should all link in together. But fundamentally, it's representing your brand and to the audience.
And we really aligned it because we both share the same belief in the importance of really understanding what your story is and what it is, how you want to be perceived by people.
Yeah.
And really right and staying true to it.
Exactly. I mean, what your core values are of your business are what makes you different and what makes you unique, and what your USP is. And so your history and the background, how things started, and getting to where you are now and telling that story is just so important.
Was there a part in I suppose in the early stages of your career when you realised that you'd actually made a massive impact for a brand that you were working with? You thought, actually, oh my God, that's.
Well, I mean, I've had such an amazing career. Really, when I look back, I started out in a training sector as just an administrator. I say just administrator, an administrator in the training sector, and then I went and worked in a really funky advertising agency in Soho, and just around the corner was a PR agency called Charles Barker, and I got an interview there for a PR executive in their corporate division. So I was looking after brands like British Midland and launching their new routes, Grant Thornton, and some very corporate B2B clients, and gained so much experience and knowledge, and worked with the team. They were just amazing. From there, I moved into consumer, and decided that the consumer was the path that I really wanted to go down. And at Charles Barker, we had some great brands. We had Cadbury, we had Typhoo Tea, and some really amazing things. And I was working on Crown Paints and the Ideal Home Show, Hugo, which is a big carpet brand at the time. And so I really kind of got invested in the home interest stroke gift sector there. Charles Barker then later on got bought out by Weber Shandwick, which at the time was the #1 PR agency in the world. So the knowledge and the training and the people that were around me were just phenomenal, and gave me so much depth and knowledge on the full breadth of PR, and very traditional then at that time. It's in the 90s, and there was the very abs kind of feel to the PR, and everyone just thought that it was going out and getting drunk, and there was a lot of that, but a lot of hard work too. And so I really owe my career to some of the people, and I'm still in contact with a lot of them. So fundamentally, they're like amazing and fundamental to where I am. But I guess Yankee Candle was the biggest one for me, and the one that always stands out, and the one that people really know me for. So Yankee Candle came to us to launch them into the UK, having worked and been in the US for 20 or 30 years, and they were ready for the UK market. And then to go and break into Europe, I left Weber and set up my own PR agency in 2002. Yankee were with me, and my agency grew with that brand, and we launched them into the UK market. Did a lot of trade work initially to get the retail sector up and running, and Yankee was just going into so many retail stores. They had massive presence at every trade show. We had amazing support from the trade press in the gift sector, and then about 6 months in, we went out to consumer, so that was a whole different campaign. And then we went on to do 26 countries across Europe, and the agency, Flair Communications was my agency. Again, I had a great team there. And we just managed that. It was just so vast. Yeah, it was so vast. But Clive Harper, the managing director of Yankee at the time, him and I had a fantastic relationship, and very embedded in the business. We were included in to get the information that we needed to make that work. We were just embedded in their sales and marketing strategies and supporting that. And then we worked with the distributors, and we did France, Italy, and Germany. So we were doing all the trade shows in those countries as well, at Frankfurt and Milan and Paris, and then working with the other distributors and we built a PR hub in the UK. So everything was on this PR hub. We wrote everything for the European markets, and then they translated them locally and distributed them, because there's so many language barriers and things that you need to take into consideration. And we just grew with Yankee, and then we worked with some other great brands we worked with Former House for a bit, which are still very much around, Spaceform, the glassware business, Baggy, we worked with lots of different brands in that sector.
I think that's something you just said that's kind of, I think it's really important to kind of delve more into, is that the growth and the success of what you did at Yankee was not just because of your skill, but because the Yankee team kind of brought you right underneath the skin of the business.
Right into the business.
And actually, success to happen, and for you to really make an impact, it's about those relationships, it's about trust, isn't it? And it's about really everything working harmoniously together, isn't it? Your PR, marketing, and sales strategies have to be completely kind of united, and you have to be moving in one direction, aligned.
Yeah. I mean, we were included in, I used to go and present at the sales meetings, and then, that and knowing what's coming forward so you can plan ahead, and making sure that the messaging is completely right, the photography was completely right for the relevant markets. We did so many big press events as well on the consumer side in London, massive big press events, and we got them into the Ideal Home Show, and lots of different things that just got them in the face of the consumer as well. But two very different strategies for the trade and the consumer.
How's the landscape, the PR landscape, changed? Because the business landscape has changed so much. Consumers have changed an awful lot, probably trade less so, but it's been quite a challenging 5-6 years all in with everything that's been going on. Has kind of the PR landscape changed? Do you have to operate in a slightly different way or take into consideration slightly different things kind of in today's world?
I think the digital landscape has kind of had a massive impact on brands, and you can't just do traditional PR. You have to take in the digital aspect of it and make sure that your presence is aligned across all platforms, wherever that may be. You know, in the gift sector, the gift retail sector, you know, the trade press, there are less trade magazines now than there were, you know, 10, 12 years ago. They've really honed down to a key two players in the market. You know, luckily I've got amazing relationships with those publications. But you know, now you have to make sure that your digital strategy is as aligned as your traditional PR strategy, and making sure that you know, the messaging is right and consistent. And the digital works so quickly, and so, you know, it's so vast, and so keeping up with that. And I think that brands sometimes are a little bit scared of it. But I'm a true believer that don't put stuff out for stuff's sake. Don't put on. Make sure that line is quality rather than quantity. And you know, that it really needs to be educating the audience and the reasons and the key messages of a PR campaign, rather than just putting something out for the sake of having a presence.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's that danger, isn't it, with brands that feel that they have to be everywhere all at once, and so just get content out just because they have to, or, you know, constantly driving sales, or but actually everything is about building community, sharing the brand story, educating, inspiring, giving back. And
Yeah, exactly that.
the strength of the community then is what drives brand growth and stability.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the home fragrance sector, it's just saturated. From, you know, there's still got the big players there, and then there's other brands popping up all the time, and they're all trying to grab space in that sector. And some survive, and some have stayed the test of time, and others drop off. But you know, it's about finding your space, making sure that your messaging is 100% on brand and consistent. Don't go off piste. Keep that strategy right. And you know, that goes across what you do as well. I mean, the brand story is so important, and working you know, in collaboration with somebody like you is a great asset. You know, working as a team, it's fantastic.
Absolutely. I think for brands who operate largely in the trade space, really understanding the impact that good PR can make in terms of your success at a trade show can't be underestimated either. So, you know, we've got Spring Fair happening, so people will either be listening to this kind of before, during, or even after. But either way, you know, we're talking about, you know, trade shows are still really important. I know that there's, you know, it's a changing landscape, the trade show landscape, but it's still a very important space for businesses to really reach kind of new customers, engage with big kind of buying partners. And actually PR and good PR wrapped around that trade show experience can transform a company's, you know, a brand's, you know, success at those shows.
Yeah, exactly that. And you know, leading up to the shows and making sure that it's not just talking about what's new and what product is coming out, but talking about how that product has come to market, the history behind that product, what's different about that product, and you know, what a company is doing to support it. So it's not just about the product that you've got on sale. It's about, you know, the brand, your representation in store, consumer buying habit, trends. There's so much to take into consideration, and that all needs to be included in your PR stories. So yeah, that, you know, there's quite a lot to take on board, and coming at it from, you know, different angles to try to keep that PR going, and to keep the press interested in having something a little bit different to say. I mean, news is news. You know, new product will always, you know, take precedent. People will always be an interest in a specific sector, and as people move about, but people buy people as well. I mean, the brand and the brand story, but the people aligned with that brand is as important, and how they got to where they are, and the knowledge that they bring, or the skill set that they bring is really important to people. And I think especially in the gift retail sector, you know, everybody knows everybody it's a lovely sector to be in, and I really love working in it. But yeah, you gotta keep finding your space.
Maybe cliche, but it's absolutely true, isn't it? People do buy people also actually, and one of the joys of doing what we do is actually amplifying a founder's story or a person's story, because ultimately,
and how it came about.
Very noisy kind of sector. Ultimately, a person's story is the thing that makes it unique and makes that brand story unique, and the approach to the product develop, special. So, and that's being able to kind of really drill that down and be able to amplify that for the world is a great privilege, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's so nice now that I feel like the industry has completely bounced back from the whole COVID thing. I hate about COVID, but for this sector, the retail sector, it was just such hard hitting, and buying habits completely changed. Needs must, and people did what they needed to do to survive. But coming out the other side, some brands have evolved from that. Some brands have grown from that experience. Others have dropped off. Unfortunately, it's just the way that things happen. And some brands have launched out of it. And so, lots of different angles there. But I'm so pleased that, I think this spring fair is going to be even bigger and better than last year. I think each year following COVID, it's just got getting a bit stronger, and every trade show seems to be finding a bit more traction. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to going. I mean, it's a bit crazy. You need your comfy shoes on, but and it's so good to be doing face to face.
I was literally just about to say, it's the best. Yeah. Not put a price on it.
No, and the journalists and who can sit and actually speak to each other face to face, even though we're in constant communication. Those times with the press are just priceless, really. And you just keep forging those relationships and finding what's coming up next. And so important, and part of the PR calendar, it's just so important to make sure that you do that.
No, that's great. I mean, like, circling back a little bit to the COVID thing, I remember when, our experience, I don't know whether this mirrors yours in any way, but we probably lost, within the first 2 weeks, 70% of our business either froze or cut off or completely stopped spending on kind of marketing and communication. But the 25-30 that stayed, and we're like, we don't know how to battle this, and we've got to keep talking to our customer, and we've got to find a way to keep doing what we do. They came out of that whole COVID experience having grown, having brought in new customers, having demonstrated empathy and understanding and built community, and have gone on to just become stronger and stronger brands as a result of that. Whereas those that just cut everything off in order to save money suddenly found that they were on a real back foot coming out the other side of it and playing catch up. And I think it was a real lesson of what is important, why marketing quite often is the first thing to be cut when times are hard. But actually, if you're not employing, good marketing and PR people, and I'm not saying this, obviously we're biased because that's the industry that we're in, but ultimately we're the one that it's the industry, it's the way, it's the conversation with the customer, whether that's trade or consumer, has got to keep happening. This is to grow.
Exactly. And unless you're a really, really strong brand and you've got that customer base in place beforehand, I mean, B2B on the retail side was a little bit different. They, people just had to shut down. They didn't have an option. But, that consumer community and keeping those people interested and up to date with what's going on, and that you're still there. It's that reassurance as well that you're still there, you're still around, you're still working, and you've still got things to talk about. But yeah, you're right. Every single time, and COVID, not just for COVID. I mean, over the last 20, 30 years that I've been doing PR, the first thing to go is marketing and PR. And, I just find that crazy. And like you say, we are biased, but if you look at actually what that generates and what that's doing for your company, brand, whatever it may be, then
the brands needed to make decisions, isn't it, about whether they're a sales-led company or they're a marketing-led company. And actually the marketing it doesn't mean that you're not absolutely focused on sales and revenue and bottom line and all of that, but actually what you're really interested in is brand growth, strength of brand, like
strengthening that brand.
And the sales tie into that, and your goals are tied into sales, but you are led by the brand, and the brand is what is the truth. rather
And
than the receipt.
that is exactly what Yankee did. You know, they were led by the brand, and you know, I was a little bit of a Rottweiler about that. You know, you keep the brand strategy and the brand communications. Do not venture off down a little lane somewhere different, because you have to keep that strong and committed no matter what. Really,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, it's been.
eyes on that.
And tell me a little bit more about the stuff. So other than being an amazing PR consultant, you have other things to your boast. We've had lots of other interesting conversations which we won't necessarily delve into, but that kind of spiritual side and kind of treats, it would be lovely to hear a little bit about that. It's a really important.
So, yeah, in 2016, I retrained as a kinesiologist, and so it's something that I'm passionate about. For people that don't know what a kinesiologist is, it's a way of communicating with somebody's body to figure out what it needs to heal itself. Um, and to some people, that's a little bit scary and a bit, you know, woo woo, but it's actually fascinating and really, really interesting. I had a treatment and then I was just sold and went and trained. From there, I'm a holistic therapist, so I do massage, Indian head. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I do some chakra work. And yeah, so I run a clinic locally a couple of days a month. So that's enough. I don't really want any more than that. And I also run retreats in Ibiza. I've got one coming up in May. So they're not really retreats. They're called holistic holidays. They're, you know, about people coming along, and for those that are interested in, you know, just keeping on a balance and keeping everything ticking over, and just like calming the brain down for a few days with some nice things going on, and so, you know, educating people about some key body systems and things that you can just do yourself at home to make sure that everything's ticking over, and looking after yourself a little bit, really.
I think it's an important reminder for all of us, isn't it, about how important balance is in our lives. And certainly, you know, surely COVID taught us that, if more than anything, is that actually, you know, work hard, do find the thing that you enjoy, but balance it with something that's good for the heart, soul, body.
Exactly that. And it's all about the balance. You know, we're not saints, and unless you're just going to go down this completely, you know, really healthy lifestyle, but most people try and do things that are healthy, eat a little bit healthy, but you always are going to fall off the wagon every now and then, or you're not going to hit the gym every time you say you're going to do it. You might not go to that yoga class and forget. You might have too many cups of coffee. You might go out and have a drink on a Friday, Saturday night, but just bring your body back into balance, and just remember, you know, not to, you know, kick yourself about it, but just be mindful of what you're doing to help your body to recover from that. Yeah. So yeah, it fascinates me, and I keep learning, always learning, and yeah, it'd be nice to take a group of ladies into Ibiza in May, and have a nice time. And yeah, no, I'm really, really looking forward to that. So, but we got Spring Fair first.
We have got Spring Fair first, and we will be marching up and down those aisles together at some point, won't we, on Sunday?
We will do it.
Yeah,
but then again, you know, it's nice to see you face to face. I mean, you know, how much do we're miles apart, but when we meet up at the shows or wherever we meet up, we always get so much out of it, and you know, it's just so important.
Yeah.
But you know, we both work across other sectors as well, but I think the gift retail is
passion place.
Yeah, it's a nice one. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk. I've loved speaking to you. I can't wait to see you at the weekend.
Yeah, see you on Sunday, Monday, whenever.
On Sunday.
Woo woo. Don't forget the comfy shoes.
I've definitely got the comfy shoes.
Lots of love. Take care. Thanks, Louise.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.